Power Talks. I am super excited, and it's me, your girl Sheree, the woman who helps women set boundaries, end people pleasing, and get their time, money, and energy back. And today we have an incredible guest. Girls, you are going to actually love her. I already love her, so I know you will. I have Kelley Tyan on the show today. She's a faith-forward Christian success coach, speaker, author, and mentor who helps ambitious women grow bold in faith. With her powerful story of overcoming breast cancer, battling depression and panic attacks, and raising a faith-filled family, she equips women to rise with courage, lead with confidence, whether in workplace or in their home. She is the founder of the Pray, Lead, Empower movement and co-host of the Chosen by Jesus podcast, where she and her daughter inspire women to live out their God-given strength with clarity, boldness, and truth. She is known for having a bold voice, biblical teaching, and a heart for transformation. So whether you're navigating a tough season, feeling stuck, or in your calling and you're hungry for more of God, I want to welcome to the Power Talks, the one, the only, and four-time, get it girls, four times national bikini champion. How many people can say that? I don't even have one. Welcome, Kelley, to Power Talks.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I wish I had some pom-poms in my hands. I'm so fired up. Thank you so much. That was beautiful, and I feel so blessed already.
Yes, absolutely. So for all the women who are not as familiar with you yet, why don't you just tell us a little bit about where you're from, where you live at, and why you just as a woman love empowering and helping other women?
Well, thank you again for having me. This is an honor to be here. So I'm in Boston. You'll notice by my accent, I parked the car, and that's a real thing around here. So my accent is super strong. And I'm married. I have two amazing kids, and I am an only child. And I grew up in a very strong Christian home where my mother really instilled Jesus in me my whole life. And I was just born a lover of people, a lover of girls. I always wanted to play with everybody. And I don't know if it was because I was an only child, but I was pretty much born a leader. I had to always lead myself. And along the years of life, I took initiative. I was always going to the next best thing and what can I do and how can I help women? And from I started as a network marketer back in the day. I was a teacher. I had my own makeup. I was a makeup artist. I just taught myself how to do it. And I started promoting myself as a makeup artist to make women feel beautiful. So I've done a lot of things in my life, and it all came back to, when I look back, it was all about speaking life into women. And because my mom did that for me. So that's how I got here. My mom really instilled in me that you can do it. She was a cheerleader for women on top of loving Jesus. So imagine being Jesus filled her whole life, sharing that with me, showing me the peace that she carried. And I wanted all women to see that. So you mentioned the four-time bikini champion. I did have a fitness business for 11 years. So I was mentoring women, I was coaching, I was training, doing all the things. I noticed that they were getting strong in their bodies, they were working out, they were committed, but they were lacking something. So I'm taking you into the whole journey a little bit, and then we can break things down. In 2020, when COVID happened, that's when my fitness business pretty much ended. I lost my mother to a sudden aneurysm. My life crumbled, the whole thing. However, God had plans for me. And that's really when I stepped more into my faith and took it to a new level. While I had that quiet time, I dug deep with Jesus. I dug deep with the Lord, dug deeper into my own faith, because, we're all on our own journey. You can have faith, but your faith looks different from mine, and our journeys are different, and that's beautiful. So that's where Pray, Lead, Empower came into place. And I decided that I'm a prayer warrior. I love leading women And it all starts with empowering from within. So I know it's kind of quick. I took you on a little fast 2-minute elevator pitch, but that's really how I got here today. And then with the podcast with my daughter, it's really come full circle for me.
Wow, what a true full circle moment, and how really a life changing event with your mother and her going
Mhm.
to be with Jesus so suddenly just
Yeah.
caused you to make a pivot. And I know
Hmm.
that there are so many women who are maybe in your position, or it's just the day to day life
Yeah.
where it's the family, it's juggling work, it's juggling their business, it's juggling all of their multiple responsibilities, but they haven't had that come to purpose moment where now they can regain and connect with who they are and who God's called them to be. So, what do you say to women who are maybe they're not strong in body or strong in mind, and they know that there's more, they know that they want to connect to the purpose God has for them? How do they do that?
You know, I was that woman because I was kind of chasing things and trying to find myself. And I was in this fitness business for a long time. So I can really relate to you, listener, right now, if you're in that situation. And what really changed for me and how I really came alive is sitting quiet. You guys hear this all the time. I'm not going to share anything pretty new, but the way I did it was I really had to get a notebook out and really ask myself the deep questions like, Kelley, what are your specific gifts? What are you actually good at? Because I know for me, a lot of times I was thinking I should do what she's doing. Oh, I like how she's speaking. I'm going to do it like her. Or I like how she's showing up on social. I'm going to do it that way. None of it was making sense to me. I couldn't find myself in that. I wasn't being authentic. It wasn't until I did the personal development work on myself and sitting quiet with God. Like I had to start over again. And instead of running out the door in the morning, I started with the morning routine that you hear people talk about. Cause I was like, what is your morning routine? Like, what does that even mean? Some women are like, I pray, I have this power hour. I'm like, wait a minute. How do you have time for that? You know? So I finally stopped and said, maybe I need time with Jesus. Maybe I need to really recognize my specific gifts that I have. What can I share with the world? And that's where I learned that I am a good communicator. I'm a lover of women. I want to lift them up. I know how to empower myself so I can empower other women. I started writing words down that made me feel alive. Like I said in the beginning, I'm a cheerleader for women. So cheerleader was one of my words, motivator. So you have to really sit. This takes time. I didn't just have a list and then I started a business. Like I didn't just, you know, that was it. Okay, I'm all these things. But I had to dig deep into each one of them. Okay, so if I like to communicate, what does that look like? Well, then there's all, it's almost like you make a tree and all the branches. So there's speaking,
Mm,
there's podcasting, there's coaching, there's teaching, there's mentoring under that. And I had to figure out which area lit me up. So for the woman that's chasing her purpose, for the woman that doesn't know her calling, that's really how I found mine. And I know, and I share that with other women, how they find theirs. And then they come alive, whether you're 50, whether you're 30, whether you're 65. Don't think about your age. There's no limit on your age, how young, how old you are. God has a plan for you and it's already in place. He's just waiting for you to grab his hand so you can uncover that plan together. And that's what I did. And that's really how I started using my own gifts and how I really started coming alive myself. So it's been a fun journey.
I love what you said too about the morning routine. I know I personally have a morning routine. It completely transformed my life
Mhm.
because once you get your morning in order, then
Yeah.
to me your entire day comes to order. Because it's
Mhm.
if you wake up chaotic, then all throughout the day you're chaotic. It's really just a way to set yourself. But I love what you said. you said that you began to recognize your gifts, and
Mhm.
you wrote them down, and you looked at what truly made you alive. So if we were to just kind of break that down to a woman who for so long she's been drained, she feels tired, she feels stuck, how does she even begin to identify gifts when it's like I can't even like see past like the spaghetti and the next business meeting that's coming through my day? Like what how does she do that?
You know, I know it's going to sound so easy and simple, but it's really prayer that did changed my
Mhm.
whole life. I thought I was praying my whole life. I considered myself a prayer warrior, but I wasn't being specific in my prayers. I had very vague prayers for a long time, like, Lord, help me. I'm tired. Give me strength, general prayers. And I was very prayerful, but it wasn't until I dialed them in and I stuck to it. Like, speak to me, Lord. I need to know what you are calling me to do. Quiet my mind, quiet my heart. Tell me, Lord, show me. I was using words that actually made sense. And God was, and then I was in the Bible as well. So I just, I took my prayer game to another level because I always say to even women now, just when you think you've prayed enough, pray some more.
Yes.
I promise
Okay.
you can't outpray God. He always will have an answer. Don't get tired because you've been saying the same prayers. Up your prayer game and watch what happens. And that's exactly what happened in my life. I started praying for specific things. I started praying bolder. And that's when things started making more sense to me. I felt I started walking in my purpose that God had for me. And it all starts with prayer. It really does in my book.
Yeah, I love that. I love what you're saying. And really, you're talking about what Jesus said when he said like speak to the mountain, not to the air. The
Yeah.
mountain is very specific, but just speaking and praying to the air is very vague. So when we want to understand our purpose, we have to go to prayer specifically, not vaguely. And I love what you said is that you thought you were praying, but really you were just kind of saying like, "Oh God, please. Oh God, when? Oh God, how?" But
Yes.
it wasn't specific to the area of your life. So if you're listening, like what a great encouragement to pray specifically for your business. Like, God, I need you to
Yes.
give me direction on the specific people that I need to collaborate with. That is a specific prayer. But a general prayer is, oh God, please help me. I
Yes.
just need you to do
Yes.
something. Like
Like,
what do you think? How do you do it?
no, I love that. And I learned from a mentor of mine, and I love this. It stuck with me 5 years ago. She said, and I've been saying this often because I'm a coach and a mentor for women. So I would, I would just say, Lord, open the door for me, or help my
Mm,
business grow. Those vague prayers. And now I'm like, Lord, put my name on the hearts of women from the north to the south, from the east to the west, who need Kelley Tyan's message, her mentorship, and what Kelley Tyan has to offer that specific woman. So I would say that over and over and over. And you would be surprised at the phones call, the DMs I would get. Or, God is just, He's on our side. And when we really truly believe that, we have hope in Him, He'll direct our steps. He'll open the
so
door. He'll close the ones you're not supposed to go through. And it's beautiful. It's all about, for me, I've learned over the years that surrendering is how it works. Like, I always try to grip the steering wheel. I want it my way. I need these kind of people and I need this. And it's, for me, it's all about surrender, and it's letting God do His work through me and in me and for me. And that's, it's hard because we all want to control a lot of the things we do. It's natural, right? But the moment we can let go and surrender and really let Him take over. So that's what happened in my life. That's when I saw opportunities in, I saw my calling really, my purpose really coming to life in that surrender.
I love how you're saying that too, just like surrendering really, truly to the people that God has truly called you to. Like
Yeah.
essentially, like that's what I'm hearing is asking God to open the door to those people. You're not for everybody, but your purpose, the gift and calling that you have on your life, they're for specific people who need you
Absolutely.
to rise up despite all of the challenges. And I know
Yeah.
I know Kelly, like you have been through your fair share of challenges yourself. And a lot of women, they find themselves with an illness, maybe struggling with anxiety. I love your story about that with depression. Like,
Mhm.
help us understand some of the key lessons that you've learned that have enabled you to continue to walk out your calling despite things not being perfect.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so many things. Like we've all been through so many things. And one of my rock bottom moments was when I did lose my mom. It was sudden to an aneurysm. She was my best friend my whole entire life. I never knew what a panic attack was. I never knew what anxiety felt like. I just didn't have that. And it all came crashing down. I was noted, I couldn't breathe. I thought my family was going to, she was taken so suddenly that death was scary to me at that moment. Even though I love the Lord, my faith was shaking. And I thought my kids were going to die. Who's going to go next? And at that point in my life, 6 weeks before, my dad was going through a rare blood cancer with a stem cell transplant. And I thought he was going to die. Then she died suddenly. So it was just a whole nightmare kind of thing. So, anyone going through a challenge, a setback, what happened to me was I had the faith. I wanted to believe that Jesus was going to take care of me. And I did hit rock bottom. I had to go through emotionally the trauma that affected me. So we need to feel those things and walk our way through those valleys that we're in. And at one point, I just had an awakening and I said, Kelley, you can't stay down any longer. You need to cling to the faith that you know and that you trust. And I just started getting on my knees, to be honest. That's really where it started. The shift happened when I started getting on my knees again and just crying out to God to really help me so I can put one foot in front of the other. And slowly but surely, I would open my Bible. I'd read just one Bible verse in the morning. That's it. I probably cried the rest of the day, but that's how I kind of got myself back. And it took time. We have to give ourselves grace. Sometimes when we're in these seasons, we feel that we shouldn't be or we're guilty, and but it's okay to feel, your feelings. You're going through I had breast cancer. Hearing that diagnosis, I mean, that was rock bottom again. It was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? I had two little kids, and but it's all about, for me, it's choosing life, speaking life into myself over and over. I started writing out declarations that would just light me up. I started telling myself that I can do this. My mom, my mom, my whole entire life battled rheumatoid arthritis. So she wasn't
Oh,
healthy physically, but mentally, she was the strongest woman you ever met in your whole life because of her faith. So she was a really incredible example of what faith actually really looks like. So I was blessed to have that in my home. But I knew if she could do it, I could do it. I could get back up again. So I'm
mm,
encouraging anyone listening, if you're really in a dark time, if I'm standing here and I'm through it, you know, it's all about choosing. It's a choice. I wanted to choose life. Again, those declarations. One of my first declarations I wrote down because my negative thoughts were so awful. They were literally tearing me up. I told you I was thinking my kids were going to die. Like, who's going to die next? Oh my gosh, this diagnosis with my dad. My thoughts were just, I was spiraling. And so one day I wrote down, I will not be defeated by my inner negative voice. And I wrote it on my mirrors. I wrote it on my wall. I wrote it on my home gym wall. I started saying it so much that anytime a negative thought would come in, it was the first thing that I will not be defeated by my inner negative voice. And I spoke it out loud until I actually believed it and could move on. So I kind of put in place these little action steps that helped me just wake up in the morning, take another step forward, get myself back to the gym so I could feel good in my body again. And it just took
Mm,
one day, and then it just started going. I started hiking my way up that mountain.
so
And
good.
yeah,
Yeah, girl. I love what you're saying, that really it's about the mind. It's about the
yes.
games that your mind plays on you, and your mind tries to get you to go against yourself. And a lot
Oh,
of women are like, okay, yeah, Kelly, like maybe you're different or you're strong or you're special. And they think that they're the only ones who are going through this. So what do you think are those negative thoughts, those negative emotional patterns that you see women getting into that keeps them stuck and really in a sense of learned helplessness?
oh my gosh. That was me again. I've walked these shoes, you guys. Like I was comparing myself. That's one of them. I mean, that imposter syndrome can really do a number on us. And
Mhm.
it's real. And I know it. And it affects a lot of us to think that, oh, I don't have what it takes. And for me, it's going back to what does God say? I had to actually start asking myself, what does God
Yeah.
say about me? Who does he say I am? I might, like, listen, I don't have a corporate background. Okay. I went to school to be an elementary teacher. So I never had business. I never felt smart enough. And I talk about this because I had to turn to the God and say, with those things that I wrote down, what did you gift me with? Like I don't have a business degree. I can't speak on business. This is like years ago, even before I went on to LinkedIn. I'm going to give you one example. Before I went on LinkedIn, I was still on Instagram, but I was tired of social media. I wasn't getting traction. I'm like, my best friend's like, just go on LinkedIn. And at that point, I'm like, absolutely not. I was petrified. I'm like, I'm not smart. I don't have what it takes. Again, I've never worked in corporate America. I can't relate to these people. But yet, I ran a fitness business. I can lead myself well. I can share something that other people can't. I'm empowering. I know I'm a motivator. Maybe somebody on that platform will see my gifts and connect with Kelly. I'm not trying to be this girl or that girl. So I finally got on LinkedIn. I started just being me. I broke through that imposter syndrome, those limiting beliefs that I was putting on myself, and I just became me. And I started sharing. And I'm just going to share this with you that in 2.5 years, I built my platform to 75,000 followers on LinkedIn. And it was all because I stayed true to myself and I owned
Mm.
who I was and what my gifts were. I may not talk about financial things and this and that, but I talk about faith and how I've gotten, through life, the peaks and valleys in life with faith, and how you can too. So we do a number, like you said, on ourselves, a lot of fear. I think a lot of women, because I've been working with women for so long, myself included, a lot of us battle fear. We're so afraid to take the next step, whether it's in our health and
Mhm.
fitness.
Yeah.
Women are afraid to walk into a gym because they don't think they're ready to be in the gym. I'm like, first of all, no one's looking at you. Like everyone's focused on themselves. So when we start thinking about how we're showing up for us, that's when we find our freedom to do the things that God's really calling us to do. So it's overcoming, and for me, it's writing out those mantras, having Bible verses on hand, declarations that fuel me in those moments of negativity or doubt or fear. You know, when I start confusing myself that, am I good enough? I don't know. Well, I don't have what she has, but wait, you
Wow.
know, you get so crazy, and we can do that all day. It's not a fun space to be in, you know? So you have to find tools and strategies yourself that can take you out of those negative mindsets, because you can listen to us all day, but we're not in your home. We're not driving next to you. So you have to find ways, like I did, to like make it your automatic. Oh, I'm starting to go down that negative spiral again. Oh, well, there's my mantra or my Bible verse. Philippians 4:13 has saved my life. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. I would say that 1,000 times in a day
Yeah.
just to get me through the moments where I'm like swaying and not feeling good enough or whatever it is that I'm going through. So I believe in having things on repeat so you're not grasping. So you're ready to fight. You're ready to put those boxing gloves on when you feel defeat. And you need to practice those things over and over and over. So it's your go-to when you start drifting. Does that make sense?
100%. And I like how you began it and just weaved us through what comparison really does.
Hmm.
Because comparison kills your calling. And it
Yes.
causes you, this is what you said, to be confused. You're
Yep.
confused, like, and you're like, okay, is my voice really valid? Do I need to be like this person? Do I need to be like that person? And
Yep.
then when you're confused, then it's almost like your body gets paralyzed from your thoughts. And so
Yes.
instead of you stepping out, you just stay stuck. So how do you think, because so many women are afraid, whether it's getting on Instagram or LinkedIn or even starting their business or even owning their voice and letting people know what it is they do, how can they overcome that fear of rejection that can plague so many women from even getting started in the first place?
Oh my God. It's 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 again, it's prayer. I know I'm sounding like it. I know, Kelly,
Yeah.
it's not that simple, but it really truly is. If you're I was stuck. I told you I didn't go on LinkedIn for 2 years. All that did was delay other people from hearing my message. So I guess it came down to, why am I choosing to stay stuck? Why am I choosing not to just go forward? Do I not believe in myself? Look at God who created me with these gifts. It's almost like you just have to shift your mindset completely, write out all the things that I told you in the beginning about what God gifted you with, and stop sitting on those gifts. Because for me, I noticed the only thing I was doing was delaying any kind of success. So I started saying, what could be on the other side if I do take this chance? If I do go on LinkedIn, what could really happen? What's the worst that can happen? And honestly, it's not that bad. Like, we get so serious, right? We get so caught up in these playing small, this little mindset. And if you really think about it, look at the influencers that you're looking up to. They started where you're starting.
Mhm.
You're looking at, we hear this all the time, but it's very true. We look at people's 20 years of work. We look at what they've accomplished now, but everybody starts at ground zero.
Yeah.
We all do. I never knew I was going to be a speaker. I didn't know about a podcast. I was a teacher, like teaching elementary kids, and I just had to choose me. I think it comes down to, why are you delaying? It's all about, are you ready to choose yourself? And I said yes to me. I started betting on me because I was sick and tired
Mm,
of waiting. I didn't want to
mm,
wait anymore. First, people are not going to come knocking on your door and choosing you. You have to learn how to choose yourself. And in what, and like I said, have some tools or things, strategies that you can, that light you up to help you over those humps. Honestly, getting a mentor and a coach can be life changing. Sometimes we all need someone to just speak life into us, to you know, roll those ideas off of each other's back, and all that helps. We have access to so much now. And so there's no need for us to keep ourselves stuck, stagnant, depressed. Oh, I can't. Because yes, you can. We really can. It's all about our belief. And it's up to us to believe in ourselves.
I love that. And I think really when it comes down to it, ladies, if you don't believe in you, then no one else will. And I and at the same time, I like what Kelley is saying, that if you don't believe in yourself, you need to get in a room with belief. You might
Yes.
have to borrow someone else's belief. Join a
Mhm.
coaching program, join a
Yes.
community, invest in yourself, because nobody is just going there's no rescue ranger coming to help you out of your stuckness. And we're not
No.
saying that to be cruel, but this is what is required to walk in your calling. So Kelley, as
Absolutely.
we just ended and just come to an end, the real question is for the woman who is frustrated, she's stuck, she's circling around the mountain, she feels like there's no way out, she's tried all of the things that she thinks is going to work. Like, what would you tell this woman who really wants to take action? Like, what is that one step or two steps or three steps that she needs to take to get her out of being stuck and then into her calling?
Number one, get honest with God. He's your father. He wants so, Jeremiah 29:11. He knows the plans he has for you. Get honest with him. I think a lot of times we're not really honest with ourselves. We just live day to day. We do the same things. We get stuck in these patterns. Get honest with God. Go deeper in your prayers and build some faith-based disciplines, as I already
Mm.
shared. When you start, see, consistency is everything. You're not always going to be motivated, but when you have faith based disciplines in your life, like those Bible verses that you memorize, you don't have to know the whole Bible, but if there's one or two verses that actually fuel you when you feel stuck or depressed, or I can't, or I don't have what she has, or I'm not equipped. Mine was Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That was my go-to. And that was a faith-based discipline that I put into place. So I would say that verse and I'd put my shoulders back, and that's how I would run my race. So it's really being honest with God, in upping your prayer game and putting together your faith-based disciplines. And that morning routine can change everything. Like I think we touched on it and you did too for a minute, but just to touch on it one extra step, your morning routine might not look like mine, but I promise you something that if you spend 5 minutes with God in silence, in quietness, open the Bible, read something that's going to fuel you, your whole mindset, your day, everything will elevate. I promise it just will. And think about if you did that 5 days in a row, 1 month,
Mm.
how much your life, your thoughts, they'll elevate to new and higher. You'll have a different vision for your life. That's what really did it for me, is getting in the word. And because I was reading at one point a lot of self-development books like Atomic Habits and 10xing my life, which is great. I love personal development. I love learning about business and growth. But I'm like, hold on, I need to get in the word and see what God says. And what does he say about this? And what does he say about me? And what does he say about my life? And so those are the things that can fuel you and take you from broken places to built, and take you from painful places to being an overcomer and victorious, because at the end of the day, that's what he wants. It's like, you, if you have children, don't you want that for your kids? That's what our father wants for us. So we need to get out of our own way, get honest with God, make that list, and step into our superpowers. They're in you. They're there. They're already there.
Thank you, Kelly. Like that was just so awesome. So, girls, you heard it straight from Kelly. Number one is you need to get honest with God. Then you need to build some faith disciplines. And consistency is key. Consistency gets you to your calling, but you need to have some kind of routine that motivates you, stimulates you, empowers you, and really elevates you to higher places. So, Kelly, I just want to thank you so much for joining us on Power Talks. And ladies, let's find out where we can find out more about Kelly. So, Kelly, where can women find out more about you?
They can go to my website, just my name, kellytyan.com, Chosen by Jesus, the podcast. We're on YouTube and Instagram. It's Chosen by Jesus, CBJ. So you can find us anywhere there. I'm on LinkedIn, as I already mentioned. I'm very active on LinkedIn. And yeah, DM me. Let me know. Say hi. Let me know I can pray for you.
Well, thank you, Kelly, so much for joining us. And ladies, I will see you on the next Power Talks.